Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Sports News, where the topics are always sports, sometimes delivered in a timely fashion, and whether they're important or not, that's up to you. Today's episode is brought to you by Sportz Beast. Would you mind telling us a little bit about your company?
Yes, I can, and thank you very much. My name is Corey. Sportz Beast is a YouTube production where a random guy will give you his opinions on sports and mediocre predictions to provide you with various levels of entertainment. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And who knows, you might like it.
Thank you. I'll make sure to link in the description all of Sportz Beast's information. The first topic I want to start off today comes from the West Coast. Looking to go for back-to-back Super Bowl wins, the Los Angeles Rams have signed all-pro linebacker Bobby Wagner. It's reported that this contract will be for 5 years and up to $65 million. Wagner last season finished with 170 tackles, career high for him, 1 sack, 5 pass deflections, and a forced fumble. Later on, Richard Sherman, for some reason, stated that the Ravens tried to snag him up last minute. But it looks like Wagner didn't want to become a dirty bird from Baltimore. Now, I was scrolling through the internet, and I come across an article that said 10 teams that need to ace their draft picks this year. So let's find out who those teams are, and I'll tell you what I think about them. First up, you have Jacksonville Jaguars, which kind of makes sense. They added a couple. They have a pretty decent receiving core around them, probably pretty average. But if you strengthen up your line this year, this is really going to tell you what Trevor Lawrence is made of. And they also have a running back in J-Rob, who has proven he can be a pretty good back when he has the tools around him. Next up, you have the Detroit Lions. Now, I don't care if they have 40 picks. They're not going to do anything this year. New York Jets. They do have some okay receivers. Corey Davis signed with them. They have 9 picks this year, and they're going to screw them all up. My advice is put Joe Flacco in, and you'll probably get a couple wins. Green Bay Packers. This is the one that makes sense. They traded away a lot of their receivers in MVS and Devontae Adams. This is where they're going to go try to pick up a cheap, good receiver and try to prove to everybody that that wasn't a mistake. New England Patriots. Now, this team has 7 picks. They do need a couple receivers and to upgrade their defense, so I really don't know where they can kind of screw up this draft at anyways. New York Giants. They still have Daniel Jones for some reason, but they did upgrade at tight end. Ricky Seals-Jones. And they're kind of running with the same squad that they had last year, so they can only really go up from there. Philadelphia Eagles. 10 picks. They're saying Jalen Hurts all the way. They have a pretty good running back, set of running backs, I should say. What you need to look for here is probably defense and wide receivers, maybe O-line if you're really worried about Jalen Hurts. Seattle Seahawks. Let me tell you something. If it's not a quarterback, you already screwed up. You have 8 picks. Draft all quarterbacks. Who cares? Because Drew Lock ain't the answer. Kansas City Chiefs. Another team who really kind of just gave things away in this offseason. They're drafting wide receivers for sure. They just picked up a running back. Obviously, they still have Patrick Mahomes. They're keeping Kelsey. So it's got to be receiver. Last but not least, the Houston Texans. Let me tell you something. Davis Mills, Jeff Driscoll, Kyle Allen, all at QB right now. You need to throw them all away and start over. But Houston's really the only one on this list who can draft in any position and not screw it up. But I say take a quarterback first. Next up, we have the Panthers GM, Scott Fitterer, said that drafting a QB at some point, you have to take a chance, especially in the top 10. Only the Cleveland Browns know more about taking a chance on QBs because they've been doing it since 1999. But Carolina is no stranger to wishing that they had a franchise quarterback. They traded for Sam Darnold. They have P.J. Walker. And none of them are going to get you into the playoffs, let alone win a Super Bowl. They even brought Cam back last year to try to be that saving grace. But that really didn't pan out this well for him. The Panthers need to make some moves. And while there isn't a whole lot really to lose, they have to cut some losses sooner rather than later. If there was ever a time to take a shot, that time is now for the Panthers. So after a couple months, Tom Brady is back in uniform, and as one moves in, another one moves out. Bruce Arians has stepped down as head coach of Tampa Bay. Todd Bowles is now trying to fill those shoes once again and becomes the head coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But more importantly for me, it's the way Arians made his exit. Rather than pursuing another Super Bowl ring, and with Tom Brady back under center, you know that's a real possibility. He put the team ahead of himself, and he said succession is more important to him than anything right now. So no matter who you are, you kind of have to respect Arians, not only as a head coach, but as a human being himself. The NFL has approved another rule change. Seems like they're doing this every single year. And now in the past years, they have been looking to make changes to speed up the game and to make the game more efficient. But this new rule change, I think, does neither of that. Basically, the rule change that they have approved will give both teams an opportunity to possess the ball, and they're only trying this out in the playoffs this year. Now, I do not like this new rule, like I was saying. If you think your team should have won it in overtime because you didn't get the ball and you knew they could have drove down and scored, or at least made an attempt to, just get better and win it in regulation. If you don't win the coin toss, I guess your defense is going to have to step up, because that is another aspect of pro football. They're going to have to step up, get you a stop, get you a turnover, do whatever they can to get you that ball back. And if that really doesn't happen, I guess your team wasn't better that day. I think Tomlin said it best yet again, that he isn't afraid, or he doesn't fear, a sudden death overtime. He may not win all of them, but you don't see him in the end bitching and complaining because they lost because they didn't get the ball. What I think the NFL really needs to be focused on right now is fixing the officiating. All too many times you say refs miss calls, and it's usually the losing team. Refs miss calls. Refs blew that one. Oh, that wasn't a catch. Oh, he should have caught it. Or he did catch it, but didn't possess the ball. Fix the officiating before you make any more changes because a team cried too much. And now you at least got to give them another shot at winning the game. Anyways, I don't like it. I think it's stupid. And really, I'm all out of time for this one. So I want to thank you for tuning in to Sports News. My name is Corey with Sportz Beast, and I'll see you next week.